So you started on Instagram for the homebound and you were posting and having people follow you from there. So then when did you kind of look at each other and go, hey, maybe we should send something to an influencer? How did that happen?
Yep. Very good question. We've actually never been asked that out of all the classes that we've done. I think that's such a great question. So it kind of came organically, to be honest. I was naturally following influencers just as a personal, preference of mine, just looking at different fashion influencers or food bloggers. And I started to notice that they will often promote, a small business or an item that they have just thought was unique or creative. So then, I kind of looked down and I was like, well, we have something that's creative and unique and we're a small business. So let's just give it a try. And I, blindly reached out to a few influencers, introduced ourselves, explained that we're a small business. All we can really offer is sending them a free product and that they get to customize it. And that really drew them in because a lot of the products that they're sent, they may be skincare products or hair care products that they don't get to really customize, but this is something that meant a lot to them. And it was something that they get to customize. They get to pick what it looks like, what it says, and then they get to use it. They can cherish it for years to come if they want to. So I think that's what set us apart from a lot of the other businesses out there. The fact that we were not only did at that time we had a creative product, but we were allowing them to customize it and kind of feel like a part of that process. So it wasn't just here, I'm going to send you something. Can you please post about it? It kind of personified it.
Do you feel like you were, and so this is back in 2020?
Yep.
So do you feel like you were one of the first people to figure that out? Maybe not in the whole wide world. Obviously, the corporates were doing it because they've been forever. But in terms of like the handmade homebound business, did you feel like you were on the cutting edge?
I would like to think that. I do think that especially in the laser space, we probably were one of, the first to really get laser engraved goods in the hands of influencers. Of course, I see that a lot now. And at this point, we've also had, close to 3,000 people join our class. So I think that probably hopefully lends a hand to it, which it makes us happy when we see that because that means people are taking that skill set and utilizing it. But back when we were first doing it, I wouldn't see, a whole lot of the type of product that we had being shared. And I think that's why it translated to immediate sales. When an influencer, no matter how big or small they were, when they would post about us, we would get inundated with sales because I think it was something unique. And people really trust the reputation of an influencer and their recommendations. So if they were recommending us, that meant, wow, they must really like that product. I know that mindset has shifted over the last few years as influencers, do get paid now to post items and stuff. It can be portrayed as being a little less genuine, but I think especially a couple of years ago, I mean, if a influencer recommended you, that means they must really, really like that product. So I think we got to ride, the height of that wave initially.
So do you think that now I mean, I know you have the classes and you tell people how you did it.
Yeah.
I've been to one of your classes. But would you encourage someone to really pursue that now, or have we missed it and you really need to figure out the next thing?
I think we still encourage them to reach out.
Yeah.
There are some influencers. It's almost like for them a not a philanthropic approach, but a way of supporting someone small that's not going to be able to shell out a bunch of money like a large CPG brand would for them, like for perfume or hair care products. And I think they realize that small business are just not that bootstrap for that much money. So I think for them, it's almost like a feel good, like, what, I'm happy to support a small business. I'm getting something unique in return. I like the product. I'm happy to share, whether it's, a static post or a whole story or a post and a story together. I think you just never know reaching out who will accept your proposal and say, yeah, we'd love to have something and would love to share it. So I think we definitely still encourage, even though the times have changed a little bit.
And I think you brought up a good point. I think another important part of that is that you have to know and do your research on picking the right influencer, because there are tons of influencers out there that people know they will just share anything under the sun and their recommendation doesn't really mean a whole lot anymore. But there are a lot of influencers out there. If you do your homework and you ask for their analytics up front, then you'll come to realize that, you know, people still really trust them, and those are the influencers that you want to partner with.
And so you're literally just DMing them and saying, hey.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
They actually answer you. That's very exciting.
As long as they actually answer you. That is a hit or miss. You know, a lot of times they may not see it. They may not care to respond. They may be too busy to respond.
What do you think is the percentage of, you know, if you send X, you'll get X, you know, come on, numbers guy, Anuj, come on.
I would say if you send out 10, maybe you can get back maybe 2 or 3, right?
Yeah, no, I think it's like 3 or 4, so closer to 30 to 40%. I have noticed as we continue to grow with more followers, our response rate becomes higher because, you know, unfortunately, it is a numbers game, right? At the end of the day, and they like to see, oh, wow, this account with more followers has reached out to me versus Little Homebound when we only had 500 followers. So I have noticed we've started to get more responses, but on average, 30 to 40%.
So I know you teach a whole class on this, but I'd love to just kind of put some golden nugget in the article about influencer marketing. So do my work for me and sort through all the wheat and the chaff. And so what is the one like golden nugget, and then come to the class? What's the one golden nugget?
Well, I guess they're kind of a couple, but you know, one, don't be intimidated or discouraged if an influencer doesn't get back to you. There are just so many, you know, in the community, and all it really takes is a couple of good influencers to be in your personal community or in your network. And if you continue to send them products over time, so anytime you launch a new product, you should have, you know, your set of 4 or 5 influencers that you know are going to send it. And it kind of gets to the point where they start to expect, like, okay, I'm probably going to get a package in a couple of weeks from Homebound. And you have that relationship with them where they are loving the products that you're sending them. They mutually appreciate them. And then you also know that, okay, they're more than likely going to post for us, so that you're not also wasting material. So I think instead of, you know, having tons of influencers in your network, you really just need 3 or 4 quality influencers that you have built a relationship with. You know, it may not be for compensation. It may just be products, but it doesn't matter. You now have this relationship with them and trust with them, which is really crucial, that you're not just taking advantage of them. You want to give them something of value.